this week. I can't wait to give you my seat. I can't wait till it's just week. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Roll up this week. I can't wait to give you my seat. I can't wait till it's just week. I can't wait. No, I can't wait. No. I'm too impatient. Ooh. Rolled up a whole damn gram I'm facing. I'm too damn impatient. Ooh. Look at your body, yeah, look what I'm facing. I'm too damn impatient. I'm trying to get all in your life and you waste it. I'm trying to make a baby. Fuck. I'm trying to fuck it up, yeah, I'm trying to go crazy. Lady, you plus me, what you think?
Hey, what's up? It's your favorite homegirl, Chanel. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey. I love my fucking promo. Shout out to Keith. I'm going to have him on the show one day real soon. Shout out. Thank you so much for the fucking music. Hey.
That's the cut. I need that on. I need it on like iTunes tonight.
Yeah, shout out. Hey, tonight is a good night. I'm super fucking excited because I have my homeboy, my good friend on here, our Savage. Hey, what's up?
What's goody? What's goody? You already know it's about to be an event.
I'm ready.
Hold on, before we start, I gotta do my
ahead.
Lil Wayne impression.
Go ahead. Go do your thing. Do your thing. You good?
Mm-hmm.
You ready? That's what this is about now. It's sex, love, and vibes. Now you better vibe the fuck out the right way now.
You know how we get it. You know how we get it. Gotta do it right.
Hey, I just want to start off by saying we have did several episodes together for my Wind Down Wednesday and just talking period on some like future projects that we're trying to work on. And you dope as fuck. And I'm super excited to have you on here tonight. Like so fucking excited. So we gonna talk some good shit. You know that?
I need you on my show, and I've been procrastinating putting these episodes together, but not this month because I really got this week already paid up. Because this episode of your show is gonna be my episode for this week. So if my fans aren't listening, they're gonna have to wait till next week to get a new episode from Random Savage. You
need to shout out your podcast while we're talking about it right now. Just go ahead.
Okay. So before we get any started, if you don't know, I'm your friend, your homie, your host, Random Savage.
Hello.
And you got to come check out my show, Two Tears in a Bucket with me, Random Savage. I take two random topics and I'll show you how they correlate. You know, give you a little hee with some ahas. So, you know, we're going to talk our talk and enjoy the show. Other than that, Miss Chanel, it's all about sex, love, and vibes tonight, baby girl. What's goody?
What's good? Now, you know, this month, we was talking about it before, is mental health awareness. So it's only right. It's only right that we start off tonight. We're talking about that a little bit. So I got a few questions that I want to, you know, see, you good.
Listen, I just got over a cold. I'm trying to get rid of the congestion. Forgive me.
It's a congestion.
It's congestion. I'm a little congested. Right. Yeah.
But now, like, I wanted to discuss mental health because I've discussed it several times, like on my Wind Down Wednesday on my Facebook page, and you know, even with you've touched on a few things when we had a conversation about it. But I really wanted to have you on the show because I feel like not enough men, especially Black men, touch on the topic. And I remember you saying that you're in that field, right? Am I correct?
Yes. I have an associate in mental health with a second degree focus with children and family health services. So working with kids and their families is what I do to like pay the bills. So mental health personally to me is a very big thing. Like you said, one thing being there's not a lot of colored people who work in the field. There's not a lot of men who work in the field. And as I've learned, there's reasons for that, but those can easily be overcome with a little bit of work and a little bit of foresight.
Absolutely. Now, how would you describe mental health? If you could use like 3 words, how would you describe mental health?
Awareness, acceptance, and functioning.
Okay, elaborate on that for me.
So when I say acceptance, that's understand one that mental health is a real thing. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Having a mental condition is a real thing. Just like you got to take care of your body, your brain's part of your body. Without your brain, the rest of you don't function right. All it takes is
Absolutely.
one knock on the head. Now you got this permanent twitch in your hand or some shit like that. That's the same thing as you wake up having a good mood, got you some coffee, and next thing you know, you throw your coffee at the wall and just screaming at people, but there's nobody there. Now
Absolutely.
it's not always that severe. And that's where a lot of lack of knowledge comes from. People think that mental illness is like schizophrenia, but there's depression. There's different forms of depression, anxiety, different forms of anxiety.
Mhm.
Accepting one that mental health is real and you could be suffering from these things is the first thing for me. Second, definitely had to be what I say awareness, being aware of what's going around you, being aware of yourself. You know what I mean? So let's say, boom, again, you wake up and your knees hurting. What do? You go get it looked at. If you wake up and you don't feel right in your body, you should go get help, right?
Absolutely.
Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of things that make you tick. If you find out, like, boom, paper on the floor, it just makes you just explode. You don't know what it is about this pieces of paper that's on the floor that makes you so mad, but it does. That can be a form of mental health. Like, what is it about the paper that flips you off?
Hmm.
And then you just build from there. So acceptance, awareness, and what was the last thing I said on my list? I'm gonna switch it and go with responsibility. Being responsible for self and
Okay.
being responsible for self, whereas far as it affects other people.
Okay.
Because in our culture, I'm gonna go with just the African American culture, the colored folk. We see bipolar as a sign to act stupid, as a threat. I'm bipolar. I'm crazy. You don't want to mess with me. That's a real thing.
Hmm.
It's not just because you can flip a mood. Anybody can flip a mood. But when there's a chemical imbalance in there, or there's triggers that lock you out. Like I have a cousin of mine who's legit diagnosed bipolar. I guarantee you right now, if you're on 60 second in Michigan, you might see him walking. He walks back and forth to work every day in a tux on regular time. He has a schedule. It helps him function.
Routine.
Sometimes you need the routine. Most times you do need a routine. And this goes back to relationships because what? Consistency.
Hmm.
So,
I like how the fact that you mentioned like different examples of mental health or whatnot, because I do want to go ahead and rewind for a second, and I want to touch on anxiety and depression, like what you mentioned. So recently, probably about like a few months ago, I did a virtual event for women, and it
okay.
was a mental health event, and it was called Adjust Your Crown, and I did it with this young lady named April Viverette and this lady named Angela Blakely. She was a former WNBA player, whatever like that, and it was dope. We talked about mental health. We discussed a lot of things. April talked about her journey with being bipolar. I talked about how I deal with my anxiety as well as depression, and Angela was on there touching on her testimony and whatnot. And
Mm-hmm.
so I say that to say, like, a lot of people, I feel like now a lot more people are coming out with talking about mental illnesses or whatnot, but a lot of people seem to be ashamed of that at times. And it took me to actually become an adult, become a parent, to feel confident enough to say, hey, this is what I struggle with. Because I remember the first time that I had actually had a panic attack. I was a teenager, and I was about like 15 or 16. When you're 15 and 16, you got that young puppy love type thing. My boyfriend at the time had committed suicide, and it fucked me up. It fucked me up for an entire year, where I struggled with anxiety and straight depression. Didn't even want to talk for a whole year. Like, it really mentally fucked me up. I didn't know what was wrong with me. My family was like, oh, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. You gotta get over that. But it was really something.
You gotta pray about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was one. You gotta pray about it. Don't be like that. That's the devil. That's all of that. And really, what I needed was to really like talk to somebody. I wanted to talk to somebody. I had shut down from the fucking world, but I didn't know what I was going through. I just now really, as I've gotten older and I have kids now, am now understanding the severeness of dealing with mental health. I feel like a lot of, especially old school parents, didn't talk about that. They were afraid to even bring that shit up or whatever. But I definitely suffer from anxiety. I definitely have suffered with depression. Now I have like a routine that I do, and I talk about it all the time. I talked about it on my last episode with Lauren, how my routine, when I feel myself getting anxious, sometimes I have to pace myself. Shit, I have a board. Like I say, in my room, I'm complimenting myself. I'm telling myself to slow down. I'm telling myself to do this and do that. That's how I function. So somebody else, they be like, why you got to do all that? But that's how I function. I move a lot. I'm constantly on the go. So I'm always anxious. So sometimes I got to be like, all right, Chanel, you need to just chill for a second or whatever. So I get
smell the flowers.
Yeah. So I get what you mean when you use your cousin as an example as well and said, you know, your cousin got a routine, because somebody else on the outside may be like, oh, he's crazy or he's struggling with this, but his routine is actually keeping him sane. That's what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Absolutely.
It's part of a treatment plan, but just to kind of pick on what you were saying earlier, how it wasn't seen in the older generation. There's a word for that. It's called a stigma.
Yes.
When mental health comes up, oh, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno.
Especially in the Black family. Oh yeah, we don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. Hey, we don't talk about mental health.
Right.
Oh, they just playing crazy. No. And it goes unchecked. Like, it's one thing to fear being appeared different.
Yeah.
But being called crazy, or you out of your mind, or you got these old Black families now, and there's nothing wrong with religion, so let me start there. But they want to prey on you like you got a demon inside of you. Nah, I probably just need to like drink some tea and talk to somebody about it.
That's it.
But also, kind of going back to the conversation we've had before, having these conversations aren't always easy.
Yeah.
Especially trying to make yourself be vulnerable to explain that you have a problem.
Right.
How do you tell somebody, hey, I'm not feeling myself. I feel off. You ask your friend, man, shut the fuck up here. Smoke this. They make you feel all right.
Right.
You probably just need to go out. Right. You be all right, bro. Sleep on that shit. Nah, you
That's
good, homegirl. Come on. Y'all making it worse.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I was talking to a friend who lost their brother through suicide. And I'm like, I can not fathom how you feel losing a brother. But I can at least name 4 people before I was 25 that committed suicide. Minor, a permanent solution for a minimal problem. But because either they couldn't slow down, they couldn't cope with it, expectations, whatever it may be, that builds on you.
Yep.
Like, how do you expect someone like, hey, Chanel, like, oh, I understand, I know you missing, but it's gonna be okay. I don't want to hear that shit.
Right.
It's not gonna be okay. He not here.
Right. Yep.
Everybody's trying to just fix it. No, I need to get this off my chest. I need to know that I can live, but how to live with it.
Yep.
Coping. The word is coping. We're gonna talk about it. Being able to continue to live with all the pain. We as humans are gonna have a lot of shit happen to us. Unfortunately, in the world we live, in the area you live in, looking a certain way may add to that. Risk factors. We're gonna talk about that too. All these things build up to you having what's called a mental illness. Why is it a mental illness in here? Medicine doesn't always fix it. Medicine dulls it. If they tell you a medicine can fix your mental illness, they're lying to you. It's just another chemical to help you cope with what's already going on. It doesn't fix it. It makes it easier for you to do things. You get what I'm saying?
What?
What they just say if your kids don't like medicine, put a little sugar on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little sugar.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see people that walk around looking like zombies because they've been like taking a Zoloft or something. They just zoned out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got people that tell Ritalin to stay up and study. That's not what the purpose is, to help you concentrate when your mind is scattered. It's one thing to constantly be thinking about multiple things going on. That's believable. As an adult, that happens. But in a situation like yours, when this is all the time, this is every second, I have to think, oh snap, did I forget this? Did I do that?
I swear. That's definitely me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, did I gotta do this? Do I gotta? Yeah. That's
Why
me.
didn't I did do it. No, I didn't. Maybe I did. Oh, I need to call somebody. It's just another way to help you be like, all right, I did. I left a note for myself. Oh, there's my sticky note saying I did it. All right, bet I got myself.
Yep.
Routine. If you stick to your routine, you can't forget it. Every morning I go get a cup of ice. I get a gallon cup of ice. That way I know I get my gallon cup of water.
Mm-hmm.
So building off of those things help you cope. Recognizing those risk factors, again, like I said, we can talk about all this more, but that all builds on itself. But if we as people don't accept it or realize it, it goes untreated. Unfortunately, God rest his soul, Bob Marley, one of the greatest figures as far as reggae goes. Hold on. Sorry about that. Lost his life to gangrene. Why? Because he went untreated. It's gangrene. It could have easily been fixed. It went untreated. Cost him his life.
Yeah. And the whole coping thing that you mentioned, like a lot of people that I've done that in the past, like even with my experience at my teenage years, the death of my oldest brother, then my father, and then my divorce, then a broken relationship. Like it was just stuff on top of stuff. So what I used to do, I was just smoking and drinking, just smoking. I'm just keep moving, smoking and drinking, smoking. So now I'm like, okay, this is what I have to do. Keep the same routine, talk to my therapist, and slow my little ass down and rest. So that's my thing now. So I definitely feel you when you mention that. I got a question though, because with you working in the mental health field and you are outspoken anyway, and we can talk about almost anything. I would like to know, why do you think it's so hard for Black men to talk up a lot of times when it comes to this? I know you can't speak for everybody, but just your perspective on it.
Stigmas, ego, pride. Stigmas, you can't be a man. You can't show weakness. You can't show vulnerability. It can't be nothing wrong with you. If something's wrong with you, how you going to take care of the home? How you going to be a man if you got mental problems?
Right.
Ego. Don't no man want to feel weak. Rather, he doesn't feel it all. But if he keeps getting told or he keeps being seen in his society, his community, you reckon your daddy had that problem too, you get the freaking out.
Yep.
I ain't got nothing wrong with me. And then it goes into pride. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're too proudful to be like, hey, I need help. As a kid, you learn after a while, stop asking for shit. So you do it yourself. Like you said, you was doing it yourself. You was smoking, you was drinking.
Right.
Listen, a lot of men, I don't listen. Oh my Jesus. Y'all got to make sure y'all catch my episode for next week, because I've got some fellas on here and we're going to break down this Kendrick Lamar album. Okay. Mr. Morrow and the Big Steppers. Mr. Morrow and the Big Steppers. I'm not about to give too much of it right now. But listen, you know what? If my guest, fuck all that. Excuse my language. Chanel, I want you on that episode.
Of course, absolutely. We gonna definitely do that. Fuck you on out here. We said fuck you on.
Listen, look, see, don't get me started. We gonna do that, because I really feel like there was a lot that he said in that album, and that it was perceived by fans as a whack ass album. Don't nobody want to hear about this nigga trying to heal himself.
They don't try to listen. They don't try to listen.
They want to move, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that.
And you know what? Let's briefly we can talk about that, because they did the same thing with Tyrese Gibson when he was going through so much with the mother of his daughter. They did the same thing with Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? They always do that. That's what I'm saying with black men, and especially black celebrities or celebrities in general. And I hate that because you all go through shit too. You human as well too. But you don't play with mental illness. Like people was going around talking about, oh, Kanye crazy as fuck and da-da-da. No, like he lost a big part of his life. His mother, you know what I'm saying? He never probably had time to grieve. He's in the spotlight 24/7. You know what I'm saying? This man is constantly going.
And I agree with you. Now, here's the issue with those two, and it's not really an issue, but the way it was perceived was done wrong. Like one, like you said, they have the spotlight. You have all this money. You need help. Go get it. I'm with that. That makes sense.
Yes.
You know better. You do better.
Absolutely. You're right.
Another thing is, if you have something you're dealing with, now understand that art is a living thing. You are your art. Sometimes you need to keep shit at home. Everybody don't need to be in your business. Like, again, going back to the Kendrick Lamar album. I didn't even know Kendrick had a baby.
Yeah.
This fool got two. He got two and a wife. And if you listen to the album, look, I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, he done dropped the baby name. You named your son Enoch. Okay.
Yeah.
I see how you slid that shit in there, bruh.
Yeah.
But this is Kendrick Lamar. We've been waiting years and ain't nobody known shit. How to tell me you had a whole baby girl? You had a baby better than Drake.
Right.
Ain't nobody fucking with Kendrick. He over here about his motherfucking business. But he did it for himself. Yeah. And I feel like that album needs to be broken down because not only did he do it for himself, he did it for us. In a sense, I see the whole Jesus complex because if nobody else is going to talk about it, I will. I talk about it. I'm Kendrick Lamar, but I still go through shit. I've had my uncles all whatever it may be. Right. He let that out. That's a big fucking step. That's the big steppers.
Yep.
That's a major fucking step for anybody. That's vulnerability. We as men, we as black men are not allowed to be vulnerable.
I want to see, and I hear that a lot of times. Tell me, okay.
The reason, and I
you already know how I'm going with this. I got two questions to follow up behind that motherfucker. Come on,
because I feel like LP has talked about it before. Because me and LP talk about it all the time. Shout out to Big Bro. No matter how many times we have the conversation, the answer still comes out the same. If we felt we can be vulnerable, I know I probably feel like I'm fucking it up. If we can be vulnerable, we will be in a better place. We're not allowed to be that.
Because of how society.
Because of how society needs it. And again, like being you spoken, no woman wants no sensitive, vulnerable man. Y'all think y'all do, but y'all don't. Reason being, women are stronger than men. It may not be brawn-wise, but think about the shit y'all go through. Y'all go through bleeding once a fucking month for like the rest of your life for a good 20, 30, 40 something years. Give or take. When it comes to the bearings, y'all make life. You have to walk around with your legs hurting, body swelling, the body's not your own. No, all these changes that you really didn't ask for this little creature inside of you to grow, and then it puts a weight on your body. Your body has to change to give this birth. Now here comes the kicker. In a lot of situations, men feel like they don't need to stay. Why? Why don't you feel like you need to stay for your child? If you and mom have issues, that don't mean you can't stay and make it work for your child. A lot of men don't make it through the pregnancy because the wife or baby mama, or whoever she is going off at the mouth and he feels some type of way. Her hormones are messed up, G.
Don't get it started on postpartum depression too.
You ain't even had the child yet. We ain't even talking about you had the child yet.
Don't get started on that.
If you know better, you do better. Like, bruh, she needs some stability. She needs some consistency.
Right.
How do you expect her to walk around and handle herself when she's carrying a life? We couldn't do it.
Y'all know y'all could. We know that.
Me and you talked about this, the whole mental when it comes to a relationship. A woman can take being cheated on so much better than a man. Because y'all take it, your feelings are hurt, you feel like you wasted your time, and it's like, damn, now I got to start over. With a guy, it's your ego, your pride. What if you was vulnerable? What is she going to share? But that's when it becomes the problem. Because, hey, Women get scorned and they get loose at the lips.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't probably mean anything by it. Maybe it just slipped out, but it still came out. I shared that to you personally. That was between me and you. And unfortunately,
you have to be careful, because in any relationship, not just a marriage or a romantic relationship, but even in friendships, anything
facts.
like that, you have to take mental illness like seriously as fuck before you decide you're going to spend forever with a person, before you want to have this particular bond with this person, because that shit is going to hit you regardless. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck of your race. I don't care if your age. It's going to hit you. You're going to go through something that's going to be traumatizing to you. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to fuck with you a little bit. So you need somebody.
It's part of life.
Yes,
it's part of life.
Absolutely.
Life's a bitch.
Absolutely.
How Wayne said life's a bitch and then you die. Hey,
Man.
How you gonna treat her? If the bitch, quote unquote, is a woman, how you gonna treat her then?
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, it how do you not think that something's not gonna happen to you? What do you think? Why do you think you're invincible?
Yep.
And we do have a superior complex about ourselves because we're black. We've been through shit on top of shit on top of shit, which we have. But the problem is we just keep fighting. Ain't nobody took time to get the stitches put in, let the swelling go down, get a new game plan. We just doing the same thing over and over and over again. How do you plan to grow if you don't make any changes? You know, when it comes to mental health, I love breaking this word down because like the definition of the word makes so much more sense when you hear it. Do you know, Chanel, the definition of insanity?
I don't know the exact definition of insanity.
The definition of insanity is to repeat the same action over and over again, expecting a different result.
Huh. That's like going back into a toxic relationship back and forth, or that's that could be anything. Several things.
And that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
If you keep eating White Castles, but you don't want the boo-boos.
But you keep doing it. You're insane.
But you keep doing it. You know what? You insane. You know what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that there's a consistency, and then there's positive and negative consistency. Something I learned in school, and I've always taken this with me. Just because it's a consistency doesn't mean it's a good one. Back to the toxic relationship, you might as well be insane.
Mm-hmm.
He can do better. I know he love me, but he's still going upside your head.
Man.
Hey, bro, I know she gonna be good to me, but she's still fucking the homeboys.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps stealing from you. He keeps stealing from you. If you let it happen, it will happen. If you don't want to change it, then you can't complain. Now, unfortunately, change is not easy. Making a change in your life is not easy or simple. But that's the growth. You was able to make a decision that is out of your comfort zone to better you. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's to say if, you start driving a Ford versus a Chevy, it don't do better. You won't know if you try.
Right.
You can't say, hey, Chanel, I don't know if this podcast thing gonna work, love. I mean, I know you got it, but I don't know. And you get that, well, but I can try it. I mean, you can, but it's a flooded market and everybody's doing it.
Right.
You don't know until you try, but if you keep talking about it and not being about it, what do you expect to happen?
Mm-hmm.
That's insanity as fuck.
Absolutely. You tied relationship into that, and I got a question for that too.
Shoot.
Can you give an example of why is mental health so important in a relationship, marriage, friendship, however?
That comes down to the communication. That comes down to the understanding. That comes down to what is this relationship and friendship, whatever it is, built on. Because if you have a mental condition and you're not getting help, that affects you, right? Mm-hmm. It affects you. It affects your mood, how you function, how you feel about certain things, light, sounds, whatever. But it goes unchecked, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I say earlier, awareness because it affects you. It also affects the people outside of you. So let's say, boom, let's say I had a minor case of bipolar, or built-in frustrations, aggressive frustrations, and then we're doing a show, and I'm like, Chanel, oh my God, I love those earrings, but they keep moving. And you're like, oh, these, and what the fuck, Chanel? Damn, I just told you I can't stand that fucking shit. Fuck. Take them motherfucking ugly ass earrings off. God damn, G. Fuck. Man, what were we even fucking talking about? You see what I'm saying? And it can be that simple.
Right.
It can be that simple. And sadly enough, I've come to understand it happens in the kids. It happens at a young age. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen as you get older, because you're not always born with a mental illness. Right. A mental illness can find you through a traumatic or stressful situation. A lot of movies we see when people have mental breakdowns put very little actual like diagnosis and like actions behind it, so it looks what it really looks like. But there are some good ones out there. A severe one would be like Memento. Memento, the situation where a guy is like trying to piece together a crime, but he keeps losing his memory. That's a major thing. It's a hellified movie. That's a major thing. Then you see things like Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey when he has split personalities.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I know a person very fucking close to me with DID. That's disassociation, individual. I can't think of what it is, the last D. But long story short, there are multiple people that live in their psyche.
What was the acronym for it?
DID.
I'm gonna look it up while you're talking. Okay, go ahead.
And it affects the mental, so that there's multiple people in their head. Okay, they share this body. And at first I'm like, you know what? I'm into mental health. That shit sounds cool as shit. Tell me more. I'm intrigued. And then I actually see the change.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Thank you. There it is. Chanel, see, you was ready. I appreciate you.
No, because that shit would bother me. That's another.
Okay, so listen. So here we go. Listen, okay. We're going to talk about our own little kinks and quirks to get our things together, because I think me and you talked about this a little bit. But back on her, she has 3 individuals that live within her head. So it's 4 people sharing one body. These individuals were created through traumatic things that happened throughout their life. You get what I'm saying? They've had things happen to them. So these individuals were there to protect the main person.
Right.
I think it's fire as fuck. I've come in contact with each one of them at a sense. Literally had a conversation of it. Some of them I like. The other 2, it depends.
Right.
But I think it's fucking fascinating. And at first I'm like, this, knowing what I know, it can't be too real. When I found out that one of them speaks Latin and the main person don't know shit about Latin, doping in the motherfucker. I'm like, damn, G, that's how y'all doing it? I wish you would be a motherfucker inside my head that could do some shit I couldn't do. Man, I'm in there.
Those be the most talented people, though, to be honest. They are.
They usually are very artistic. It's being able to express themselves and not be judged for it or looked at crazy. As me and this person are sharing this conversation about they're like, you've met them a couple times. I'm like, what? When we worked together, you didn't know that was so-and-so. For real? And nobody fucking told me. I thought you just having a bad fucking day. You try to tell me it was a whole motherfucker. It's a whole motherfucker.
That's a whole new person. You didn't even realize it.
I ain't no shit.
You didn't even realize it.
Listen, went to visit with him. Short story, went to visit him, and we was chit-chatting, and there was a switch, and I didn't catch it. You usually can catch it. And it was like, I don't like the way you hugged me.
Excuse me?
You're usually very, and they started drilling my ass. You're usually so attentive. You didn't see it. Oh, it's your ass. What's up?
What you the fuck brought you? Himself.
It pissed me off. I'm like, what the fuck brought your ass out? That's none of your business. Well, what the fuck?
Now, how long have you been working in the mental health field?
Going on 2 years now. It'd be 2 years next month.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Well, you're married.
Mhm.
But if you weren't working in the mental health field, and if you and your wife wasn't married right now at this present time, and you came across your wife and you found out that she had a mental illness, do you think you will still pursue that? You know, a lot
If
of
I
people
knew,
hear when you
if
talk about when you talk about mental illness, they're like, "What? You got a what?" But I tend to think everyone has some form of mental illness. That's just me.
we all have some level of mental illness. It's when it's too much, or it's more than the normal, and you can't function with it. Then it
Yeah.
becomes a problem. Like
Yes.
through living here in Arizona, through this job, I've developed anxiety. Okay.
So you know.
I know. And matter of fact, I can tell you the story that happened yesterday. As I told you, I've been sick this week, so I haven't been at work. I knew today I was coming back to work. All right. Bullshit you not. I had already put in my sick day. I woke up out my sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out how to do the note, which is the documentation
Mm-hmm.
on a conversation, a situation that never fucking happened.
That's me. That'll be me.
It looked, and I was like, I'm up, like I'm looking at my, I'm like, I don't gotta do it. But I didn't go to work, but I do have the note. Mind you, I'm trying to do the note on a person that I saw on TV. I'm like, okay, Letty, what's her last name? I gotta look for it. It's so bad. Look, it's so bad. I opened my phone to see if I clocked out. I was like, shit. I looked at my phone like I couldn't have clocked out because I never clocked the fuck in.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had to check because I'm tripping right now. I'm telling everybody, they're like, damn, that's fucked up. I'm not laughing.
This shit
That's for real. That is pissing me off.
That's for real.
Like
though.
I love what I do, but if I'm waking up out of my sleep trying to do it for something that didn't happen, I need to step away.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's awareness, like what you was mentioning. So as
You
long as
gotta.
you're aware, you know what I'm saying? You can be aware of what's happening. You like, okay, that's cool. So you can deal with somebody who's aware of that, but somebody who has no knowledge of it and that's not accepting of it, that'll be an issue.
Buddhism say once you get self-awareness, self-actuality, that is like the end all be all. And I feel like there's some truth to it.
Okay.
If you can control yourself, if you can get your mind and heart on the same accord, your spirit will be perfectly fine. Because those are those people you be like, oh, look at this bum ass. They can say what they want. It doesn't bother me.
Mm.
You know the bills need to be paid. I do. I've got a plan though.
Right.
When you reach the point of that tranquility where it doesn't matter, I know. I fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
My back hurts. Probably should go see the doctor. It takes away the stress of you worrying about it. You know, you going to MD on Google trying to self actualize yourself. Like, no, you're good. It's not a problem to ask for help. But first of all, who you asking for the help?
Mm-hmm. Can't
You know
ask
what I mean?
anybody.
And as far as your original question, if I knew my wife had mental illness, would I still pursue her? Yes. I'm not looking or judging her off her mental health. If anything, I want to be there to help.
Absolutely.
I still love the person she is. She ain't changed to me.
Right.
But to somebody else, I don't think I can handle that. And that's okay. That is okay. But how you do it, that becomes the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got time to be hanging out with no crazy ass nigga. Yeah, bitch, on Facebook. Yeah, bitch, he this and that. He talk about the. Why?
Mm-hmm.
What was the purpose? What did you gain from doing that? And they be the same ones. Oh my God, I love them so much. I can't believe you probably the catalyst that did this, G.
Right. And that's why I mentioned it wasn't to like twist anything, but just to think, because a lot of people, when they hear that, like I said, they're just, they're shunned. I've had people, when I tell them I've dealt with anxiety or depression, they're like, oh no, oh gosh, that's a red flag, you know. And it's like, no. Like what do you
made
me ask that question, you know?
And it's crazy. It's crazy because since 2020, it seems to be a fad now. Now everybody's getting mental help.
Right.
Everybody's got a problem. They're getting it worked out. Now, if
Mhm.
that's really what y'all doing, cool. I'm all for it.
Just don't play
Please.
because it's serious as fuck.
Don't play about it.
Mhm.
If you in the crystals and the spirits and that's how you get to what you need to be, do that.
Mhm.
But don't be trying to be like, oh yeah, sugar. I'm into all the little magnets and copper shit. What's your number? Nah, that's not the move. That's
People
not the
do
move.
that too. People do that too.
I see it so much, and I'm like, you know what, bro? Like, look, don't do it, because I'm gonna be petty. My petty meter picks up. All right, then, what's this crystal do? Man, you tell me. I'm not the one talking about. I know about crystals. I know about what's in my bag. Do you got a bag?
He said, "Do you got a bag?
You got a little crystal bag, bro. Do you know what any of this is?" Now, if you tell, and I feel like you tell, hey, I want to learn. Hey, we getting somewhere,
right?
But it's like, it is also like yoga. Yoga was considered a coping skill in my eyes. It really helps you center yourself, helps you de-escalate, helps you just calm everything. Guys can't seem to do that because of the stigma. That's a girly thing to do. I can't be in here, or they think he's in there to sexualize everybody.
So what would you suggest to a man who's dealing with a mental illness and who wants to, like, you know, control that or become better? What would you suggest? What would be your suggestion or your advice?
First, seek proper help. Seek help from somebody who has some kind of paperwork behind their name. Don't you ain't got to go talk to old Billy Bob and Jim Dole or your bros and your cuz. They don't need to know everything about you. Now, if it becomes something serious and you think they should know, cool. But you need to get your own help. If it's in God, then do that. But go to the pastor. Don't go to the first lady and the deacon in them, because they mouth just as reckless as everybody else. And that's also another issue, because people they share. This is a confident thing. This is a HIPAA law. HIPAA is a real thing. HIPAA is basically saying anything that goes on medically, it stays between me and fucking you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You tell anybody that, you're breaking the law, because it's about my health. This is my health.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Well, as soon as you talk about health, you start coughing. God damn it.
Look, gotta try to tell you something. I get this phlegm out. Definitely find you a piece. Find you something that you can do for you. That way, you can get away and find what makes you happy, what gets you in a calm place without depending on anybody. I would hate for somebody to be like, you know, my piece is skating. I like to skate. Okay, then you have everybody. Why don't you go skate? I don't have nobody to go with. You don't need nobody to go with.
I hate hearing that. I don't got nobody to play. Do it yourself. It's for you. It's your thing. And people do that, say that, and they struggle with that. And I hate that. Like, what's for you is you. That's your thing. Like you said, find your peace. Find what makes you happy. Find what makes you feel whole or you again. That shit is important. So,
but it's hard to look at. You know what I mean? And fellas, and lastly, after you find that peace, after you find some help, be okay with what you find out.
Right.
Be okay continuing to move on with your life. It may not be everything that you thought it was going to be. It may not really be nothing. You can get past mental healthness. You can live with it like any other sickness. But you got to put in for what you want to get out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Don't let anybody like deter you from your health because of how they feel about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's like saying a diabetic, man, you don't need no insulin. All you need is, you know, some herbs and some sweet potatoes. How do you know that? Oh, because my auntie had it. Where your auntie at? Oh, she dead. How? Diabetes. What the fuck?
I know for women, it's easier for us to talk about a lot of these things. I know I can speak for myself at least. It's a little easier, but the men I've came across, like far as like relatives or close friends, the guys, they'll always say, man, it's so hard, you know, to talk about that. And recently I had a guy even share like it was harder for him because, and this is perfect because I remember us talking about this with LP. Guy has shared how his mental health has improved due to the fact that he now has a support system. So he don't just have somebody to go to, like maybe a therapist to speak with. He actually have a circle now that he can confine in that that had the same experience, that understand what he goes through. So I remember when we had talked recently, we had I don't even know if we had did a show on it or whatever for the Wind Down Wednesday, but it was me, you, and LP, and you guys was talking about something. We was talking about mental health some type of way, and you had mentioned you and your boys talk about that. And I think shit like that is important because women, we talk about every goddamn thing with our group. So I think that's important. And I think that's dope as fuck to hear a man say, damn, me and my boys talk about that shit too.
We got to.
Yeah.
We got to. You got to be able to get that off your chest. You got to be able to have an understand. Maybe it's not just you.
Right.
Maybe it's not just you. I am so sorry. This phlegm. But going back to the Kendrick Lamar album, I called LP as soon as I started listening to it. I said, bro, you remember that question I told you I was feeling how I was fucked up? He was like, yeah, because I explained being the man I am now is not who I was. Okay? Being who I was couldn't help me survive being who I am now. I'm in a contrast to who I was, who I am, and who I want to be. Now I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a provider. I work with other people's kids. I got all this other stuff. I have responsibilities compared to the hot ass I was when I was younger, who was popular, had all these friends, this and the third. How do I combine that? How do I continue to move on? Because I feel like a weak ass nigga sometimes. Why? Because if I was younger, I would have bopped on his ass. But now as a father, it's not just me. So I feel like a cow. Sometimes I got it. You know what? You got it. You got it. But then, like I talked to LP, like, you know what, bro? That's just the way life is. You ain't always got to be that guy no more. You've done it. Right. You've been able to move on. Look at you, bro. You in your 30s. The way we was living, bruh, it could have easily been us. Unfortunately, we've lost friends. We've lost brothers over dumb and petty shit. And it could have easily been us. With that being said, we need to hold on to each other just like we hold on to our women. Like we hold on to our money.
Yep.
Cause like I know right now, if you was to tell me right now that LP was gone for some reason, I'm gonna flip the fuck out. I'm finding the first trip to Indianapolis. Like there's no questions asked.
I gotta have LP on the show. People gonna be like, who the fuck is an LP? I gotta have him on the show. I gotta have
him. It stands for little penis.
Yeah. But you're right though. And that's dope. I love
little penis.
You know, stop saying that. Stop. He gonna be like, what the fuck type of
it stands for licking popsicles.
I don't like it.
Look,
that's crazy.
Little picture. Look, LP stands for so many things in the world. But it go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying though, the whole purpose of me, because I know we only got a few more minutes to do this, but I wanted to do this particular episode because, like I said, mental health is definitely real. A lot of people are not comfortable with talking about it. Not to mention it's Mental Health Awareness Month, you know, the whole month of May. So I definitely want to do that. But also to have a Black man on here and to discuss it, because a lot of Black men that I've came across, that I've had conversations with, they battle with it. The shit is real. So the fact that you work in the mental health field, you know, you have your own experience with mental health, and you can share, you know, your testimony and give your advice and all the other stuff regarding mental health. I think that's dope as fuck. I just want people to be more comfortable with accepting that. Like this is real. This is this. There is anxiety, there's depression, there's bipolar, and there's so on and so on. It's okay. It's okay. So it's more so of an acceptance thing. So I really appreciate the fact that you was brave enough, courageous enough to even want to say, yeah, I come on the show. We can definitely talk about that.
Listen. Not even try to cut you off, but fellas, if you listen to this, you gotta be able to take care of yourself. Absolutely. If you're trying to be the man of the house, you gotta be able to be alive to do so.
Right.
Women, I know sometimes you don't do it, but some women are out there hateful. You can't weaponize people's pain. As I said earlier, Women, y'all can talk about, yeah, girl, I can't believe this shit, da da da. Y'all can talk about all the weird, crazy, awkward situations most of the time without fault. Y'all are bred to do so.
So
You watch your moms or aunties cook around, play space, talking shit about they daddies and husbands and boyfriends and what they going through. We as men, we see our daddies smoke, barbecue, talk about the game. If they got a daddy or a big brother or a cousin. But God bless it if this big brother or cousin or homie or friend isn't part of some negative shit and trying to give you the negative shit so you can be a real man to take care of your responsibilities. It gets way deeper than just being able to talk. You got to be able to accept that shit. But you also got to be able to stand responsible for your actions and those of others. Now, if you can't help it, your responsibility is to get help. If you recognize a risk factor, hey, being around here is not the best idea for me. Being around this environment, being around these people, then move your ass. Absolutely. They don't make you a coward. They make you a hero. You were smart enough to get out of the bullshit. Mushrooms grow out of shit. Flowers grow out of dirt that's been worked over and taken care of. You want to be a flower, you want to be a fungus.
It's the truth, though. It's the truth.
One is beautiful, but it can harm you, but it stays beautiful. The other one can be ate or it can fucking kill you. Like,
but you had mentioned with the men and the women thing, and I just want to add on to that. Like, if you a man and with anybody you encounter, especially a woman, and you're with a woman who's supposedly love you and care for you, get you a woman who's gonna understand your mental health. Get not only just any woman, get you a healing woman, because a lot of times we categorize the men and women. Men are like this, and women like this. How about you get somebody that's healing, are working through their own stuff as well, so y'all can be on the same path, and y'all can be aligned, and y'all can hold a conversation, and y'all can grow together instead of battling your own shit and then getting somebody who's gonna add on shit on top of your shit. How about you not do that? You know what I'm saying?
How you gonna build a house of shit?
Yeah, like now you just got a hole full of house of shit. So I feel like that's important too. And I wanted to add on to that with what you were saying, and even vice versa for women. You know, like I said, if I deal with anxiety and depression, why I'm gonna get somebody who's fucking mentally, verbally abusive in any type of form or way that's going
and short tempered.
You know what I'm saying? Or short tempered. No, I can't deal with that. Why would I constantly put myself through? Why would I do that? That's adding shit on top of other shit. So no, I think not. I rather
there's no healing there. So how about this? Watch this. Do you remember I said the 3 things that every relationship needs for it to survive?
What is it?
Do you remember? Watch this. Trust. Okay. Mental health. You gotta be able to trust that person.
Absolutely.
Communication.
Gotta be open to talk about everything, including.
Listen. Understanding.
Very understanding.
Because if I'm talking to you, but you can't understand what I'm trying to give you, then what the fuck are we talking about?
Absolutely.
That I'm giving you my expectations. These are what I need from you. I don't need the floss and the gold. That shit's pretty to look at. I need you to be able to talk to me, sweetie.
Right.
I mean, the body's great, but like, what's in here? Because I can I ask you why are woodpecker's tongue so fucking long?
No, not those questions though. Not those.
Do you know why? I found this out today. Random ass question.
This is why he's random savage. Go ahead.
Facts. Listen. So I found this out today. A woodpecker's tongue is extremely long to the fact that it wraps around their brain. Okay.
Wow.
Hold on. Watch this. This is why I was like, this shit was dope. Their tongue is so long that when they go to, their tongue keeps their brain in place so they don't get themselves a concussion.
That's too much.
I thought it was a trip until I looked it up. That's factual shit. All woodpeckers do it. I
believe you too. I believe you. Random savage, of course, everybody. This is the shit that we talk about, though.
but can we? But look, can we have that conversation versus you saying, nobody want to hear that dumbass shit? Who the fuck knows it? Shut the fuck up. Damn, I couldn't share it with you. I couldn't express something with you. Like I'm just talking.
Just sharing.
Damn, all right. My fault.
Right. Just sharing.
You see what I'm saying? Just sharing a thought I thought was interesting.
Right.
Don't nobody give a fuck about this shit. I did.
I like it though. You
see how fast that snowballs? And it snowballs right off of that. Versus, I told my wife, she was like, "Oh, I knew that." You knew that? She's like, yeah, I finally knew something you didn't know. I'm like, so that's tight though. Like I didn't know that shit. That's groovy.
Because you guys are for each other. That's why, and that's good. That's how it's supposed to be, though. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. I appreciate you. I thank you so much for even allowing me the opportunity to trust you on my platform. This was amazing. Whoever who gets a chance to come across this video, watch this video, I want you guys to understand that mental health is real. It is so real. Educate yourself. Learn the signs or whatever.
Take care of yourself.
Yes.
Coping skills.
Yes.
Quick thing. Coping skills.
Yes.
Coping skills is something you do to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Deep breathing, calendars, puzzles, whatever awkward thing you can do for you. Did you say meditation?
Meditation.
Yoga, cooking, dancing. The things you don't think about that can keep you where you need to be. Take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna take care of that body, take care of that mind. That's
important. That's the first thing. Our mind is constantly processing things all day, every day. So sometimes you just gotta pace yourself, slow down. So take care of that. But I appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh my gosh, it's so much love. You are always family now. You fucking family.
Oh, we're gonna do it again. Come on now, stop playing with me.
You already know. This is only the beginning though. For those of you who tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Sex, Love, and Vibes. As always, I appreciate y'all. Go ahead and shout out your podcast one last time.
Again, like these are just really my opinions based on facts this time. These are factual opinions. If you don't like them, look them up so I can tell you I told you so. And after that, it's Two Tears in the Bucket. Fuck it. And you can find me at the Two Tears in the Bucket podcast with me, Random Savage.
Period. Appreciate you. Have a good night. Thanks again. All right.
I can't wait to roll up this week. I can't wait to give you my seat. I can't wait till it's just week. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to roll up this week. Give you my seat. I can't wait till it's just week. I can't wait. No, I can't wait. No.
I'm too impatient. Ooh. Rolled up a whole damn gram I'm facing. I'm too damn impatient. Ooh. Look at your body, yeah, look what I'm facing. I'm too damn impatient. I'm trying to get all in your life and you waste it. I'm trying to make a baby. Fuck. I'm trying to fuck it up, yeah, I'm trying to go crazy. Lady, you plus me, what you think?
How come you not famous yet? I'd be like, you didn't share my shit. How come you ain't shared it yet? That's what I don't understand. That's what I'm not famous. Friends be like, how come you not famous yet? I'd be like, you didn't share my shit. How come you ain't shared it yet? That's what I don't understand. That's what I'm not famous.